This is the Holy Mountain Podcast, where we discuss what it means to find rest, regain perspective, and reconnect with the world around us. All right, welcome back, everybody. This is Shane.
And Rebekah
Oehler.
Well, you didn't say your last name, so.
Because we're the Oehlers. I thought you were going to say it. Say it for the both of us. Yeah, I don't think we have to say it every time. Hopefully not. But we're back with another kind of, not behind the scenes, but like explanation podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just kind of like deeper diving, just things about the organization, kind of why it is built the way it is built and what the pieces mean. So today we're going to talk about the values. So last time we talked about kind of behind the name and then the motto. So those 3 R's, the values have 3 S's today.
Yeah.
So share, shepherd, and shoulder. Again, these are things that like have a biblical framework. And so this is, kind of like one of those pieces that we would hope would be like implicitly picked up on, like as people live out these values. They're really like modeling what like the Bible teaches us, like how to kind of like set up our homes and how to live in that way. And so, yeah.
So these things are like more tangible things
that
we should be doing.
Yeah, these are more tangible things in some ways. Like it
can look different for anybody.
Yeah, it'll be unique to like people's situations and people's lives. But that's where I think it's kind of like we talked about maybe in the first one, where like this is kind of that lifestyle component then to Holy Mountain, where it does have this outdoor focus because of my like passions and interests. It has like an archery bow hunting focus. But really when it boils down to it, like it is these lifestyle pieces that are the framework of Holy Mountain. And so even within the board that we have, like we talk about this too, not all of us that are even on the Holy Mountain board are like outdoorsy people or hunting, or like hunters even. But we each can be living these values like in the communities that we're a part of, in the hobbies that we do have. And so this isn't just like restricted to archers and bow hunters, but really this is like the big picture community that we're hoping to kind of like raise up and influence, like to be living lives in this way.
And like you just said, we know several people who are living out these things in their own everyday life and their families and their community who are not outdoorsmen.
Yep.
And so it is something that, Holy Mountain can apply like these standards, I guess, or these
values, maybe.
For lack of a better word, can be applied anywhere. Yeah. Okay. So going off of that, why don't you explain how you came up with the values? Like why...
Yeah, I honestly
the 3
don't
S's?
even know.
Like, where did it come from?
Yeah, I don't know if I have a clear answer to that.
Really?
Like, I think, again, I would attribute this to be like another one of those places where just consistent time in God's word. And I felt like thinking, I don't even know that I do fully know how they came to be.
What about, so let's go back then. The mottos?
Yeah.
Did it come right after the motto? Like, at what point did you...
It was definitely later. I had the motto first.
Okay.
I think, like, the values potentially were more so as I was thinking about, what is it that I really want Holy Mountain to achieve? Like, what are the things that we'll be doing? How could I kind of, like, simply conceptualize that? And then how could those be, like, I don't know, characteristics maybe like that then we could be putting out there and kind of like walking through like in an easier, like simpler way.
Do you know when you made them? Like year?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, like it would have been like the first.
Oh, it was right away?
Couple years,
Well,
probably.
because I can't remember, because sometimes it's hard to know like when we got all that stuff going,
right.
With like social media
so
or
I guess
consistency.
That's fair. Like,
and
I don't know that I did talk about that. Like we were the LLC for a while where we were just selling the branded merchandise. We didn't have necessarily like the depth of this framework. I'm pretty sure we had the motto at that point, but
I think we did, because we had merch with the motto on the back of it, or
right.
something like that.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yep. And those were like some of our original, no, I'm even thinking like the Hebrew motto. Oh yeah. I guess kind of like irrelevant, but
we had a few OG designs.
Oh, and like the
any
tanks.
Of the Hebrew logos had the rest, regain, reconnect.
No, the Hebrew logo is the HLYMNTN. And so even
but on the back, remember?
We did but not going all of them down did, the back, because like the hoodies, we have a Hebrew logo hoodie.
I guess that's fair.
And so even like that, right? That's something that we could potentially talk about of like the logos, like why those things are the way they are. But anyways, we had the motto. I know we did have the motto when we were in an LLC, but when you're going through the process to become like a federally recognized nonprofit, like there are some different components, like where you, with the bylaws, a very clear mission statement, like those types of things that you have to have that you don't when you are just an LLC. So I think it was probably in that process that like the values kind of like were fleshed out, because like you just have to start thinking like a lot more critically of like, what are the things that we're going to be doing? And you do have, like, even our mission is like vague, but like specific. And that is kind of intentional, because you need a mission statement, especially with a nonprofit, that gives you like wiggle room. Yeah. And so from that point too, you're thinking like, what is the scope that we could have? What are the things that we could be doing? And so that's why it's like individual, family, and group growth, right? Like, because we could be doing all of those things. Will we have kind of like a specialty probably within those? Like, yes, but I don't want to be restricted to what we can do because we didn't encompass enough, like in our articles of incorporation or things like that. So that's why there are some kind of like more like wide casting statements, I guess, like within some of the mission and those pieces. But anyways, I'm pretty sure in that process is when like the values really came out. Because again, like thinking about what it is that we want to be doing and then how we want to be doing those things. That's like kind of what it came from. So the first S is share. And so very simply, it's to share our passions, stories, and lives with those around us. And so that's one of those where, again, I'm into archery, I'm into bow hunting. I want to teach people about that. I'm like sharing my passion. Like I have a huge passion for the outdoors. I want to share that with people. But then like we talked about too, it's more than that with what we hope to do, like relational impact wise. And so there's an aspect where it is going to be like sharing our lives with people. Yeah. Like we're going to be like walking alongside people in this process. And so I do know there's that component that will kind of be, like sharing in the sense of I could just be selfish with my time. Yeah. But I'm hopefully going to be like sacrificial in that and sharing it with others, recognizing like it's more than just me. Like that goes back to the motto, like regain perspective. It's more than just me. So that's share. I guess, do you have any extra thoughts, questions about that one?
No, I figured we could have you just go through them and what they mean, why you came up with them. And then I think we could circle back after that and just discuss how you live that out. Like, how are you living that out? How do we live that out? Because I do think that's something that we can't just come up with this good idea and think it's tangible if we ourselves aren't even like living that out. Right. And I think the reason it seems tangible and we stand by these values and the motto and everything is because it's something that we have seen work in our own lives in even different communities that we've been in, pre-kids and currently with kids in Oregon and now in Montana. So if you just want to continue to the next one.
Yeah.
And then we can get into that once you're through.
Sure. Yeah. So the next one is shepherd. And kind of how we describe that one is to be an example to those around us by shepherding our lives, our families, and then the surrounding community well. Mm-hmm. And so this goes really into like that responsibility and that ownership that we do have, kind of like we alluded to, I think, in the last one of like it starts with us and it starts in the home, right? So I need to be like a good steward, a good like shepherd of myself. Mm-hmm. And part of that, I think, is like living the motto, having those breaks, having that rest and all of that, like we talked about previously, so that I can be in the position where I am like a better husband and a better father. And yeah, because I am like prioritizing in some ways, like doing what I need to do to be like a good individual and like to be in a healthy spot for myself. And that's where, yeah, not to jump around so much, but again, like that's another thing I hear so much in kind of like the hunting space is like these trips are more than just the hunt, right? It's more than just like killing an animal or whatever. But a lot of the times, like you'll hear like guys in particular talk about how like I come home from those things, I'm a better father. Yeah. And I am a better husband, you know? So like there's something about, again, the time outdoors and the time doing these things that it's like clicking things in our brains. I don't know, like how better to like
that have been like disengaged.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, that have been disengaged. That it's like it's waking it back up.
Yeah,
to the responsibility and the ownership that we should have and that we need to have, like in our lives and in our homes. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, kind of that sequence again with shepherding is our lives, our families, and then our community. And I think that kind of trickles down into shoulder as well. So shoulder is to shoulder the burdens of those around us and to be meaningful partners in our communities. And so the big picture goal for Holy Mountain is like, it has a tangible, a tangible impact.
I was going to say before you continue, we're still coming out of a family sickness.
Yeah.
So if you hear a lot of clearing of the throat, that is why.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
But yeah, so the big picture goal for Holy Mountain is like for it to really have a tangible impact in the community. And again, I think that that's the biblical framework, right? That like it should be evident where God's people are because like it does cause like abundant life around it. And so that's the hope where eventually like we're looking at the needs of people within the community, maybe like on a bigger scale, like the needs of a community itself. And we're trying to help either meet those needs or kind of like we say, like partner, like to meet those needs. Because recognizing that like we're a new nonprofit that like we don't have to reinvent the wheel to try to be everything for everybody, but we can recognize this is what we're really good at. This is what you're really good at. And like we want you to be really good at that, but like we'll help in some way, you know, whether that's through our own time, through our resources, like whatever it looks like. But I don't want Holy Mountain to kind of be like siloed off and to have that kind of dynamic within a community where, you know, it's almost like selfish pride and ego where we think like we have it made, but we can say like, you're doing a great thing. We want to get on board with you. Yeah. And like, we'll help, you know, like in whatever way we can.
Yeah.
And
because
so,
again, that would be an action of coming alongside.
Yeah.
And not having like, it's not self-serving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I agree with that.
It's not just about getting people to be a part of Holy Mountain.
Right.
Like
not at all.
That's not the end goal. The end goal, again, is like that shoulder. It's like community impact.
Yeah.
Like we want our communities to look better because of this. We have some frameworks of how we think we can do that, you know, from like small scales and like on a relational level that hopefully will continue to grow. But yeah, the end result is hopefully like healthier communities.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love that. Okay. So going off of the values, how have you in different roles in your life stepped into these values seen yourself step into it? How are you currently living out these values? And maybe also share, because I just know the environments that you have been in, maybe see why you see these as being a big need for the sake of our communities, for the sake of our youth. Why is this needed? Like, how are we going to be functioning better?
Yeah.
Based off of what you have experienced.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Maybe. You might need to like walk me through it more once you get there. But yeah, I think, again, kind of like a very tangible way that like I have done this and this has happened is like, I would say like, I don't know, I probably couldn't say I'm like new to hunting anymore.
Probably not.
Like story from another time, but like I started hunting freshman year of high school, like the first person in my family to hunt. Like my dad went through hunter safety with me. But even since then, like I have taken a ton of new people hunting. And so like, that's a way where like I am like sharing my passion, like with other people. I'm like, that's part of the reason why, I'm like archery instructor certified, like to be able to share my passion with other people. Yeah. And like introduce them to something that like means a ton to me. Yeah. And so, that's been, like I said, like hunting trips, that's been teaching people how to shoot their bow for the first time and kind of like mentoring them through that process and like building in some frequency there. And so that's like, what I have done, that's a tangible piece of like how I see Holy Mountain kind of like functioning in general. Lives, like how to share our lives. Like, I think that's big picture, like kind of how we operate as a family. Like we've kind of said that, like we want to be the open door where like the kids that we work with especially can like show up and hang out. Like we want to be like people who are reachable, like able to go get coffee with a student, grab lunch with somebody. Yeah. You know, like
we want to be accessible.
Yeah. We want to be accessible
and
to
not
them
like, and not like a obligation accessible. Shane and I are so anti-obligation. Yeah. Like we don't even, like it's not even funny when we make those comments. Like we're so serious.
Yeah. And so like, again,
and I think these kids know that.
Yeah. And we don't need the kids to like want that either. Right. No. But it's like, hey, it's here if you want it. If you don't, great.
Yeah.
You know,
we
like,
still love you.
Yeah. Like totally fine. Yeah. But we like, I would say in general, like that's kind of how we operate as a family. Like we want to be people that like kids especially know, like we're here if you need us. Yes. And like the door is always open. Our phone is always on, like whatever that might look like. Yeah. For them, like we're here and we're available. Yep.
As he has a cough attack again. Yeah. Today's a rough one. I also will say during the church, today's Sunday when we're recording this, during church service this morning, he just kept having, it's like that dry tickle where you're having like just all service. And I was like, bruh, you okay?
Yeah, we had coffee, we had water, and it was like the heat wasn't helping. Yeah. The cold wasn't helping. I don't know.
Yeah, it's been
the more I talk too, I think like the worse it gets. So well, yeah, maybe not the best for like podcasting, but
whatever.
Yeah, we're rolling through it. So
I mean, they got through the most important part of the podcast. So
what?
Hearing what the values are and why you chose them. You know, this is all just personal stuff from here on out.
Yep. Yeah. So then.
Yeah.
Shepherd. So to be an example to those around us by shepherding our lives, our families, and the surrounding community well. I mean, I think there's like tons of different aspects that you can kind of go with this one. Like when I think of being a good like shepherd of my own life, I do think of it, there's like a physical fitness component. There's, I think like, a mental health component, a spiritual health component. Like there's a lot of different ways that kind of flows. Like we were just talking about it actually, like before we recorded this one, that because we have been sick recently, like both of us have kind of fallen off the wagon of our normal like workout routines and things like that.
Moving.
Yeah. And so like I typically will do Mountain Tough like a few times a week. When I don't have like super early mornings. And that's a way where I feel like I know, again, that's physically putting me in a position where I'm just more functional.
Yeah.
Right. Like I can be more helpful. I can do more things. I'm setting myself up like for better success on like hunting trips, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But there is like a functional, just like daily life capability.
Well, it's also like, how are you going to care for others, whether that's your family or people who are, you know, looking to you in different areas of your life? How are you going to care for them if you're not caring for yourself?
Right.
Right. And that there is a big aspect to health that I think plays a part in the mental side of everything. And of course, spiritually.
Yeah.
But yeah, those all three of those things feed into each other.
Yep.
And I don't think that you can just fixate on one and neglect the rest and call yourself like equipped to shepherd to the extent that you should be.
Right.
And like, hello, I'm guilty. So
yeah. So yeah, I'd say like that's kind of like the physical fitness side, like the mental health component. I really do think like has a heavy correlation there with the physical fitness. Like again, exercise and being active helps our mental health so much.
Yeah.
But then also like, yeah, the time outside is huge. Like we talked about that in a previous episode where like, you'll know when I'm at a bad spot and you need to like send me to the woods, you know? And so there's that aspect too, where I'm making sure again, like I am living and practicing out those rhythms of rest, and like living the motto in that way to then get me to like be just in a mentally healthier spot.
Right.
So that's kind of like the mental side for me. Spiritual, again, like for sure, like those like daily or as frequent as I can, like quiet times, like in the Bible, like that's a function of my job right now, like working at the church. And so I do have like most of Monday where I'm like in the Word doing like a sermon prep type of thing, like some study time. Most of my day Tuesday, like at least half of the day Tuesdays, that same thing. But like I emphasize that like before I ever use the Bible as almost like a tool of the job, like it has to be something that is like personally like shaping me as well.
Yeah.
And so coming to it, like first recognizing like this is how God is shaping me and is forming me. It's not just a tool for my job, you know? And so having, I think that kind of like recognition and humility too is for sure like shaping my spiritual health. That all goes into how like I'm shepherding myself.
Yep. How are you currently like who are you currently shepherding in your community right now?
Well, I think like before
like on a weekly basis, what does your
before the community though is the family. And so that's where like we talked about it at one point, even in some like brainstorming for the podcast, like we have set some like very intentional kind of like structures within our family because of I would say like this very concept of like intentionally shepherding our family. So we have like a family mission statement, we have a family prayer, and then we have some kind of like characteristics that like also, or what do we call them? Like targets or the arrows, whatever. I would have to like look back at it, but essentially it is
pull
like
it up while you're talking.
Yeah, I mean we don't have to go into it this podcast because I think it could potentially.
Oh no, that'll
take
totally
too long.
Yeah, for sure that would take too long.
But yeah, so it is just like kind of like character descriptors that we are intentionally
it says target and hopes.
Okay. So targets. So yeah, those kind of like target characteristics, I guess, that you can even say of these are the values for our family, like that we're holding. These are the things that we're going to be raising our kids by, that we're going to be like intentionally being in prayer over them by. And so those types of things. So I would say, yeah, shepherding the family definitely is kind of like next in line after like shepherding myself. And then for the community, I think it does look different. Like again, the kind of like the biblical framework for this would be like discipleship essentially. And so I would say as far as like Holy Mountain goes, sometimes it will be that explicit, like more discipleship, like I'm helping you like understand what it looks like to be a follower of Jesus. But I think other times like it'll be like, how am I coming alongside somebody to help them be a better like brother, son, you know, down the road,
like
again,
pouring
like
into someone.
Dad. Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, like that, like life alongside,
Yep.
kind of like mentorship and walking with someone. And so I do have like a group of guys that I meet with, like some high school students on Wednesday mornings. And I'd say that's like pretty intentional discipleship that I'm doing with them. Like I cook breakfast for them. We go through books together. But yeah, there is this kind of like core group that I would say takes me up on the open door, phones on, like I'm accessible and available, like that type of a thing.
Yep.
And so I'd really say it's probably right now, it's that group of guys, like of high school students, that I would probably say like I am shepherding like on a weekly basis.
Yeah. Because we're immersed in our large community on like several times a week. But it really is like, well, how almost like intimate of time are you actually getting during those moments?
Right.
And so, yeah, I would agree that the sharing and shepherding is really happening in those moments, like Wednesday morning, as opposed to like a Wednesday night when you're around the community, you're serving your community, but you're not necessarily connecting.
Right.
And sometimes that can be also on a Sunday morning, just because, it gets a little chaotic sometimes when you have so many people and you can only give like 5 minutes to each person because there's always someone new you see, which is not a bad thing, but it's, you know, the circling back, making sure.
Yeah, like when you're the one in charge, like, you're the one making sure things are like rolling into the next thing and things are being done. And so that's kind of not the time for the relational connection. And so it has to be, at least in my opinion, in my experience, it has to be outside of those kind of like classic Wednesday night youth group times. But I do meet with like students fairly regularly. And again, that cadence kind of depends on like what's going on in their world, what's going on in their lives, what they want to talk with me about, process through. Yeah. Like, so definitely one that kind of like comes and goes, like ebbs and flows, but, I recognize that it's there for sure. And then the shoulder one, I feel like it's one that we're still like trying to figure out, I think, to some degree. And this is one where like, because Holy Mountain is the back burner thing right now, I think it's like harder for it to be like a really meaningful partner in the community, or for it to, just kind of like effectively meet some of those needs and like actually like shoulder burdens. And so that's something that like I see how it could work and how it could function.
Yes.
But I don't think we're there yet, you know, obviously. But something that is cool that we have seen like in the past year, and then we were kind of like able to reflect on, is how like all of this, I potentially like, I wouldn't go to the extreme to say like it has been like a shouldering aspect, but there's like some people that I have like introduced to archery, like introduced to hunting, that I'm like working with like the son, and then the dad is like reaching out to me as well. So then I'm separately teaching both of them, shooting with both of them. Like, I think to some degree you could say kind of like, you know, shepherding both of them like in this hobby. Like, and so it's like, it has that kind of like
it's
share and shepherd
that
component.
Wouldn't have necessarily happened if it weren't for Holy Mountain and you being passionate about archery and hunting, that you've brought a few dads and their sons together to either pick up the hobby again, because the dad grew up doing it or has the gear and just hasn't done it, or they all of a sudden are like, okay, this is like mega bro bonding time. Why not?
Right. So that's what I was going to say. Like, it's been something that I've been able to do with each of them individually. There's times where I have been able to do it with like both of them together, but then now it's something that the dad can do with their son. Like they don't need me involved.
Yeah.
And then again, I would say like there's an aspect where like that is shouldering, right?
Yes.
Kind of like what we talked about with the ways that like the culture's going with broken homes, you know, family dynamics, like all of that. Like there is a piece where like we're not like repairing that, but like we're providing an opportunity. I think like for a dad to like step into something and like to be able to do this again. So yeah, just acknowledging that like Holy Mountain is not, I'm not saying like Holy Mountain's like saving families by doing that or anything like that, but it is providing an opportunity for dads now to do something like with their kids.
Yeah.
And like there's a couple families that I think this year, like we'll have another opportunity to do that same thing. And like we recognized like my brother Ethan and I, Ethan's like the VP of Holy Mountain. He's on the board as well. But this is kind of like something that happened in our family where like my dad went through hunter safety with me just because of my interest. It became something that the two of us were able to do together and connect on. And then Ethan got interested later. He went through it and then like he started hunting. And so then it became something that like him and I could do, my dad and I could do, or like the three of us were doing together. It's like neither one of them really kind of like hunted on their own, but like it was kind of even in that way, like the way that like Holy Mountain is functioning, like with me kind of coming alongside the father and the son so that they can do it together. Like we've seen that kind of play out as well. So like I'm excited for that to kind of continue and like for the values to kind of play out in that aspect as well.
Yeah.
But I do think like there's kind of like the big picture aspect, and we have seen this like in glimpses too, where you know, like we had chickens for a while. They were laying more eggs than we needed, so we're just giving eggs away, right?
Yeah.
That's like a tangible need that like our community had. Like some people were, not that like, again, they're gonna starve to death if they didn't get the eggs from us, but like it's an easy need that we can meet. And you know, kind of like the dream situation too is like even with hunting, I want to be that kind of like provider that like our family's freezer is full and we're filling the freezers with like
other people,
our friends and like other people who don't hunt, people that are in our community that do have a need. You know, even we had not this last fall, but the year prior, I killed a bull, and the processing, like some of the
scraps.
Scraps, like after we did get like the good meat, like what was left over and some of that like silver skin, sinew, like all of that, we were able to give to friends that then ground it up and they fed their dogs with it. And that like fueled my fire.
Because nothing went to waste.
Yeah, nothing went to waste. And they said like the dogs loved it, right?
Yeah.
Like they knew, like, I don't know, again, like creation order, right? Like they were made to be eating this kind of stuff and not this like highly processed like dog food.
Right.
And so there's things like that too, that like I want to be able to provide in different ways, like for our immediate community and then the greater community. And I think like hunting, kind of like how we go about it and what that looks like. Yeah. Accomplishes that. And then it also accomplishes that. I think it can for our like friends and family.
Someone who we've met who is in our community models that so well. And I feel like you and I are just like constantly in awe of them as a family. But I mean, we could shout them out. We could say names, right? Yeah. So Joey Gardner, just who is probably, I would say, and I think we've told them this, the reason we're in the community that we're in, for the most part, models those values so well. Yeah.
And again, like it's that aspect where as a family, they recognize everything they have is a gift from God, right? Like, and so that idea of like holding it all with open hands and recognizing like they have been blessed in certain ways, but it's not just for their own gain. It's to then go and like be a blessing to others.
But I would almost even say like saying like they've been blessed. Like I understand what you're saying with that, but for anyone who doesn't know, it makes it sound like they're rolling in the dough and they have all of this stuff. I would go to say that their heart posture is like, even if they lived in a porta potty, they would still be operating the way that they do.
Yeah.
And that's just what I've seen. And that's something that I knew that when we saw that, we've never seen someone live their life to that impact on their community. And we were like, oh my gosh, like how do we, like, what does this look like for us?
Yeah. Yeah. Cause that was, we like joked for a while. Cause for a while we lived on their property.
Oh like we needed their help.
We were in trailers and then we like rented out a little house from them. And so they have like a trash trailer. And I remember joking with like some other friends that we were like in a small group with. I'm like, honestly, don't know who uses the trailer more, like Joey or like everyone else, because like it was constantly people like coming to pick it up, use it for different things. And he's like, just, like, hey, do you have a need? Do you have a need? Do you have a need? I have this. Yeah. And so he's just the epitome of like, rather than letting something just be there and kind of like be stagnant, he wants it to be useful to somebody. And he wants to be able to like serve someone through that kind of generosity, which I think is like shepherding, right? That is stepping into that. And then it is shouldering. Like he is like, very much like community minded. How can we help meet needs based on like the ways that
the community on his back?
Yeah, for sure.
MVP.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's so good.
Yeah.
I love to just be a part of it.
Yeah.
Just watching him. You go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that's where I think, shouldering, I think that's like really what it comes from, and kind of how, like, I hope it continues to go. Like, even if you were to go on the website, like it's a picture way back of me holding up, back straps on a deer. And I have like one of our t-shirts on it. It was a My Oregon tee. Like when we were still living in Oregon, this was like right after the wildfires like swept through Detroit.
Yep.
And that was the community that like both of our families had kind of been
a part of,
like in minor ways. And so when that happened, we were like, man, like I was immediately like, we got to do something. And so like, that was a shirt that like all of the like proceeds, like the profit from that shirt went back to like a specific fund that was just going back to help like rebuild Detroit. And so that was like a small way too, that Holy Mountain's like trying to be that type of like community partner and like help shoulder the burdens. But I do think, like we talked about before, that kind of phrase of, oh my goodness.
Do you need a sip of my water?
Like living the motto to live the values. Like I think the values in some ways aren't something that you can just go and like do, but it has to come after, I would argue, like after you've gone through the process of that motto, like where you are breaking the routine, you're regaining that perspective and recognizing like what it's all about. And then having that intentional like re-entry to where now you understand why you're sharing, why you're shepherding, why you're shouldering.
It has to be intentional.
Yeah.
It can't just be willy-nilly.
Right.
Otherwise it's not going to be, it won't last. You'll get burnt out.
Yeah. And I think, so Caleb Reynolds, he's another one of our board members. Like we, have kind of said like, we think he naturally lives the values like better than anybody.
Oh yeah.
Like just somebody who's constantly like giving of himself and looking out for other people, like wanting to bring people along and just like constantly serving. Like he just has a heart for people and a heart for like the needs of the community. And so, I think he's somebody definitely to kind of like shout out as well. But that I think has role modeled these really well. Cause this has essentially been my challenge, like to the board of like, we have to be doing this and embodying it. Yeah. And like, if you're on the board, like you got to be bought into this as well. And so, I do love to see kind of like how they each do it uniquely and differently, kind of like within their different hobbies and within their different spaces. But again, like the hope is that Holy Mountain, whether it's like me spearheading like the physical thing here in Kalispell or Ethan in South Carolina, that's like it's going to look different for him, like potentially like on the golf course or something, you
right.
know,
Yeah.
but that there's like a noticeable difference and a tangible impact that's happening as we are living this way.
Yeah.
And it's like actually having an impact.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
Okay. I think that's really all I have for this one. So maybe a quicker one today with the values. You have I was thinking of a name for it. Do you have a nature nugget for us?
A nature nugget. But they're not always nature.
I think they all have.
But everything's nature.
I mean, they all have like something to do with nature.
I mean, kind of. Some of them are just like solid. Okay.
It's just a solid random quote. This isn't the podcast for it.
I know. Okay, wait. Ooh, this is a good one. This is a nod to, I don't know if it was episode 1 or episode 2 when we were talking about our subconscious, whether we acknowledge God or not. Mm-hmm. Like there's something about God's creation that we all connect with.
Well, you should have done that quote then for that episode.
Well, this one is from C.S. Lewis. Classic, and he never gets old. If we find ourselves with a desire that nothing in this world can satisfy, the most probable explanation is that we were made for another world.
It's good.
Isn't that so good?
It is good.
Also, I don't know if you can pick it up, but
you won't be able to.
Whoa.
Our kids are about to go get spanked.
Yeah, they're literally screaming. Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Let's go shepherd our.
That's right. Yeah.
Shepherd our children.
To shepherd our family.
Oh, shoulder the burden.
Yep.
Oh cool. My goodness. Well.
All right. Well, thanks guys. Thanks for continuing to follow along.
Yeah.
Hope this is like helpful for people, and definitely like drop us some comments if you do have any questions or thoughts about what it is that we're saying, or even like how you've seen this kind of take shape in your life. I'd love to hear those stories as well. So
for sure. Maybe if we get some really good comments, we can shout out in future podcasts.
Maybe. Only if they're really good ones.
Only if they're really good. So don't fabricate a story, but maybe share.
Yeah.
Live out one of the values.
That's right. Share a story.
Share a story.
So we're going to be doing that soon, hoping to start diving into more stories of this in action, or again, even like just hunting stories. Like I do want to be able to tell some hunting stories.
Yeah.
Like, okay, everybody. Thanks. We'll see you next time.
Bye.